That's no moon. Hello, Cheapara here. Today we're doing another toy unboxing. This time it is the Sonic the Hedgehog Death Egg playset. This is from Jakks Pacific, and this figure, or this playset, has actually been on the market for at least a good 6 months, if not longer. This is definitely something that has been out before Christmas of 2023. When this was first released, I believe this was retailing at about $39.99 or so. It has now been decreased in price and can be found on Amazon and Walmart and some other outlets as low as $11.98. So for whatever reason, this has just not been selling, and for the most part, it's being cleared out. There's also a number of other Sonic figures and play sets that are on sale, and they're 50% off, 75% off. They're good deals, and even though for the MSRP, it may not be worth it, with the discounts, it's definitely something that, especially for this figure set, this play set, it's definitely worth the price. $11.98, that's the price of really what you'd pay for an individual figure, and you get this entire play set. Now, to discuss the Death Egg play set itself in the box, this is the Death Egg as it's usually been seen. Now, as far as being having any type of like story connections to the games, yeah, it's Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, for whatever reason, it kept on dropping out of the sky and into the floating island. And then from there, it made appearances in like some of the racing games in the background, or just as part of the track. You also had it as far as being reintroduced back into the Sonic storyline. It had more of an impact with respect to Sonic Forces, if memory serves me, that they had the Death Egg again. And I think this is more a representation of how the characters look with respect to the Death Egg from Sonic's Forces, since it's the more modernized Sonic and the more modernized Dr. Eggman. So the playset itself looks to have kind of these spiral rings to kind of make sure that Sonic can run around Robotnik as like a boss, and it looks pretty cool. I've seen this in stores and I passed up on it because of the price, but at $11.98, even to just have the Death Egg in the background, it's something that I definitely couldn't pass up. So it comes with a Sonic figure. I guess it doesn't come with Robotnik. I don't know, about to find out. A lot of these play sets, and not even the play sets, but some of the joint figures that come with Robotnik and different of those like roboticized mechs, have some type of gaming aspect to it, that you press a button or you hit Sonic against Robotnik and he falls apart. So there's like a gaming aspect to it to win. So it looks like that's the same thing here. Hit 2 to 3 times to defeat. So I definitely want to check that out. Moving on to the back, it shows more of the inside of the playset. And again, this is kind of just a representation of what you see on the front. Over 12 inches tall. That's highly impressive. So just, even if you didn't want the figures, even if you didn't care about the Robotnik, you didn't care about the Sonic, to have this as a display piece, if you've got other Sonic figures, I think that looks really good. And for the cheap price of $11.98, to just have on your shelf, that's cool enough. And of course, there's your main Sonic image there on the side. So we're going to get this open and see how it looks. Okay, so here's the inside of the box. So it actually comes with both Sonic and Robotnik. I keep on saying Robotnik. Sorry, guys. I am a Sat AM 90s Sonic fan, and Robotnik was the name that he goes by, and that's how he goes by that name in the live action movies as well. But the Dr. Eggman figure is almost like the old, I believe it was it Burger King or McDonald's? I'm gonna say McDonald's. The McDonald's toys back in the 90s for the Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles games, that they had Robotnik Eggman as part of one piece with his hovering, mech over here. So these are all the pieces together. It comes with kind of the capsule that Dr. Eggman fits in, comes with the Sonic, comes with the pieces that we have to build. So we're going to take this out of the box, we're going to build it and see how it looks. So as I'm building it, guys, I did want to point out that there is some really nice texture to this. To see the individual grooves, the kind of the texture of the outside of the death egg looks pretty cool. Very much what you'd expect from the Star Wars Death Star, and kind of having that mechanized look to it, almost like it's a huge circuit board. But definitely cool in terms of the texture and detail that is on this. Now, looking at the figures themselves have colors that pop. There's the Eggman figure, looking good, and his little um, hovering egg. I forgot what the name of that is, but there you go. And then you've got Sonic that he cannot stand, and he's kind of got this like hunched over, like getting ready for a race against Shadow or something. Looks like he's got posability in his hands, but he has no posability in his legs. So that's how he's going to be, as if he's maybe coming after a Chaos Emerald or grabbing that last ring. So let's get this open, but those are the figures, and I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so I can start to understand why this is priced at such a low value of $11.98. The reason being, now when you're building this, there's a huge issue in the fact of the instructions are completely useless. Dr. Eggman wrote this himself because it tells you nothing. Nothing. There's not descriptive pictures to really understand how you build this. So you're trying to figure it out and like, oh, it's simple. It's just snapping pieces together, but it is not. So for the sake of these rings that you see here, for it to fit properly, because this is kind of like the toyetic or game part of the toy, is that Sonic is supposed to be on this track, hop up, hit the bottom of Dr. Eggman's Eggmobile, which is what it's actually called, the hovercraft, and it pops open. Now, the thing is, this has to have enough wiggle room after you've placed the pieces and snapped them together for this prong to shoot up and for Sonic to jump up and hit Dr. Eggman. So that requires this peg to lift up on the press of a button. However, the only way to do that is to manually, that peg down there has a set of grooves. Manually turn that peg to match the grooves on these pieces so that it fits in perfectly. It doesn't say anything about that in the instructions, but you have to make sure this top groove here fits into these grooves within this peg to allow for that peg to be able, upon pressing, to go up. So again, there are grooves. There's, I should say, one groove on this ring particular, when you're snapping it together, has to fit properly down there. It's hard to explain, but all I can say is that the peg here, when you're putting the pieces on, make sure to manually turn with your fingers so that the groove matches when you're pushing it down, so that falls into place. Otherwise, this peg is not going to go up. So that's a big issue. Okay, so as you can see here, Robotnik fits into his encasing pretty firmly. There we go. And it looks really good. This looks awesome. And you just put him onto the peg like so. Eventually. There we go. All right. And then we put this piece down, and this piece has a prong on the bottom. Actually, this is the wrong piece. There are two pieces. Here you go. There are two prong pieces that are the kind of the final connectors to connect the top and the bottom. So the big thing to understand is that you want this groove on the bottom. This one's just a straight peg. This one's a kind of a groove to it and has another little piece to it on the right there that goes onto the bottom track, snaps right into place. This one goes to the top, snaps right into place. And now let's put Sonic on his track like so. Okay, now to put Sonic on the track, see if we can turn this, boom. You want to press the button right here, this button right here, to lift it up. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time putting Sonic on the track with his little treadmill. There we go, like so. And let's try it out. 1, 2, 3. It worked. So, you know, once you get it together, it's pretty neat. But the building of it, the lack of instructions, super, super annoying. Put that back together. There we go. And again, he can slide across this. But the only way to put Sonic on there in the first place, he's got this track with grooves on it. You have to press this up and then slide the piece right on for him to be able to connect to the track. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time, and you're going to affect the plastic if you try to snap him on like a hard snap. He needs to be put on by pressing this track up and then sliding him on. So anyway, and then he can go across the track as necessary, racing around. And it's pretty cool, almost like a Hot Wheels track. And it works good once you've understood how to build it. The instructions are not helpful, but pretty cool to do that. Otherwise, if we turn this around to the front, so looking at the front looks great. So you don't even need to show the back if you're doing it for display purposes. Like honestly, for me, I'm just going to have this displayed just like this. I'm not even going to show the back, but for those that want to have the toyetic playset aspect of it, it's pretty cool. Again, for $11.98, I think it's still a good deal. You get 2 figures that are both pretty high quality, in my opinion. And you get this display piece that has 2 sides of it. Each one is interesting enough for display. This looks great too. The only aspect is the building is a pain. But otherwise, I would still recommend it at that $12 price. If you're looking to spend $15, $20, that's too rich for the wallet for what you get, especially the complications of building this. And I'm not sure how, like if you're going to move and put this in storage, what's the liabilities and risk of these pieces holding together over time through wear and tear. But otherwise, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Gotta go fast. See you next time.